Hey YouTube. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this is I recorded this video and this is the third time I'm recording because I burst into these I cry on and off, while recording. But I'm in Grenada. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve day. It's rainy outside. You can tell the rain in the background, so I'm gonna be contending with that as well as the noise from the traffic because the house is close to the street, the road, as we say in Grenada. So before I forget, I want to wish you guys a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas. Anyway, I came to Grenada about a week ago. I came for my grandmother's funeral. She was buried this past Tuesday. She died at the age of 84, and she died the night before my birthday, which made the death even harder. I miss my grandmother dearly, I missed her tremendously. She was someone I grew up with. When I say grew up with, like in her house, I grew up with her. She was the one who took care of me when my mom had to return to work after having me. So I knew her very well, and she was my only living grandparent. I was never lucky to know her husband, my grandfather, who died when I was 6 months old. My grandmother suffered from dementia. She was at late stage dementia. And it was really hard to witness the deterioration. I can't even talk. Over the last, especially the last year, and it was really significant over the last 4 months. There's something awfully painful about knowing how someone was and seeing where they are, where they don't even remember you. I don't even know if they remember, or if she remembered herself. But it's incredibly hard to see somebody go through that. It got to the point where she was like a child. She had incontinence. She struggled to eat. And she just didn't know people. There were these moments of, yes, on and off memory and recollection of some people, some moments, but for the most part, they weren't collective. Just to tell you a little bit about my grandmother, she didn't have a formal education. She was actually a housewife. She also owned and managed a grocery shop. So a mini mart, as we would say in the United States. And for many years, that was the only one in the village where I grew up. And she had the first of many things. Like, she had the first working telephone. That's just one other thing. And I would remember people coming to our house to make calls, especially overseas calls, etc. She had the only phone booth located on her property for the community, where you put like a 25 cents a quarter and you make a call. She had the first one of those. And other things I don't really care to mention, So she was a housewife. My grandfather was the main breadwinner. He was a police officer, very successful police officer. And even though my grandmother didn't have a formal education, she valued education. And it really showed in her kids, because all of her children, including my mom has 3 siblings. She's the only girl. They have done well. They're all educated people. They have done well. And they can attest to that as well, that she valued education. And I'm telling you from a personal point of view, of perspective, that when I decided to come to the United States 17 years ago, she was an advocate for my higher education. She supported me. She made sure I had things that I needed for my transition to the United States. And even in high school back home, primary school, she always made sure I didn't go without. And there are all things I can share that I don't care to share on YouTube, but as far as how giving she is. When I listened to her eulogy, it was also shared that she kind of provided childcare free for members in the village when they had to go to work, because she was at home. Like, the house was here and the grocery store, the mini mart, was on the same piece of property next to each other, just like 2 footsteps next door, next to each other. So people would come and drop off their kids, and she would keep an eye on the kids while she ran the grocery store. And my mom always shared stories of when she was a little girl and her brother had to bring bags of groceries to elderlies in the village, or if not that, she would send my mom and her siblings to go do chores for the older people in the community. So she was that kind of person. So when I reflect on that, it's very hard for me to really. I'm still struggling with the fact that she's not here. And in some way, I feel like dementia kind of stole who she was, long before the physical part died. My grandmother, I don't even know if I mentioned this earlier on, but she passed away the night before my birthday. So that really was a sour birthday for me. And it's not about the fact that it's my birthday, it's the fact that I really wanted to call her. I wanted to call her on my birthday. Even though, I said to myself, she might not even remember who I am. And I just never got around to doing it. I remember my mom calling me and saying, it seems as though your grandmother passed away. And she said it like that because she was not in the house with her at the moment. But her brother called and said, it seems as though mommy passed away. And y'all, I just bawled and bawled. I remember just leaning on Ron there, and I was just bawling. And I cried a lot at the funeral too. I put my hand on her chest as she was laying there in the coffin. For whatever reason, I don't know if I was hopeful that I would feel like a heartbeat or something. I don't know. I think it was denial, to be honest. But I so desperately wanted to give her a hug. And, I kept saying, I'll travel next summer of 2022. Amara will get to meet her. And I will give her a hug, even if it's just for the last time. Because, she was progressively declining with dementia. So we kind of expected the outcome. Yet, when things like that happen, it is still very shocking. If you've ever dealt with anyone who has had dementia, or anyone who had passed away and so on, it felt so sudden. It felt so sudden. The other thing too, I don't know what's your take on this, but my mom was the one providing direct care to my grandmother for the last 4 months. Grenada had a spike in COVID. The decision to let go of her caretakers, because she had caregivers, I should say. And with the spike in COVID on the island at the time, my mom decided to just take on that responsibility. So people would say, it's good that my mom had those last months with her, as opposed to her being in a home or in the care of someone else. Because, the day she passed away, my mom was with her. She was with her before she came back to our house, which is this house where I'm recording. I'm living in one village, and then my grandmother lived in another village. The people are saying to my mom, at least be grateful that you spend those last moments with her. And my mom can tell you exactly the last thing she ate, what she wore, because she was there with her. So I feel so bad for my mom, because I can't imagine losing my mother. And, my mom goes through these periods of being okay and tremendous sadness. And I know this is going to be most likely for the rest of her life. So I don't know. Guys, give me 1 second. Abney is doing something that she shouldn't. Abney, you need to get down. Okay. I'm not going to stop and edit this video. I just don't want to even... It's really hard for me to sit here. And as I mentioned, this is like the fourth time I'm recording this. I just wanted to come on here and share that with you, that I came to Grenada for the funeral, my grandmother's funeral, because I know some of you saw a picture or two on Instagram stories. Um, and then you guys are asking me about workouts. So I mentioned in a few videos back that I feel like I've exhausted workout videos. You know, it's very hard to collaborate now in the pandemic. Everyone has other things going on. And even though I record, it's very hard sometimes for me to sit down to edit. I have two small children. Amara is a little bit clingy. She can be a little bit of a handful. So I don't get the time that I really need to edit quality videos. So I decided to just take a pause on the fitness videos, try to make more engaging short content for Instagram and my Facebook. And then when the time is right, sometime in the new year, hopefully I can get back on YouTube with a different kind of or improved content. I don't want to keep spinning the wheel, you know. I don't want to keep doing that. I think that becomes very boring after a while. And it shows in my views, etc. So I just didn't want to keep doing that. But I'm still here. I still watch you guys. I still watch videos. I still give a thumbs up. I may not always comment. You know, guys, I struggle a lot in the pandemic. I'm not always able to engage as I want to because I'm struggling with stuff as well. I know a lot of people won't admit that. Some people show that they're always jolly, but this pandemic has been a thing. And my grandmother's illness with dementia, her fight with dementia has been a struggle for me throughout the pandemic. Knowing that I'm not here to help my mother, give her the kind of help that she needed, really took a toll on me as well. So there was that. But I do plan on getting back at some time. It's just not the right time because the mindset is not there. So with that said, I wanted to share that with you. I know you can see the background. There's a lot of rain. There's a lot of greenery. Grenada, a lot of Grenadians refer to Grenada as greens. It's really full of lush vegetation. Like I'm sitting right here looking at oranges and lemons and peas and whatever else. And Abney is just starting to interrupt my video. Maybe mommy will make a video with you another time, okay?
Okay.
Thank you guys. But that's what's going on and that's why I'm here. So I don't want to drag this on because the tears are back there and they're starting to flow through. But I wanted to share that with you. So thank you for tuning in, and I do wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday. It's a really rough one for us, having freshly buried my grandmother. It just doesn't feel the same, and it will take time.